The stars stretched across the dark sky like a river of diamonds. Captain Daniel Hayes sat in the broken remains of his small spacecraft, his breath heavy inside his helmet. Smoke rose from the wreck and sparks snapped from broken wires. His hands shook as he unstrapped himself, his body aching from the crash. Daniel stepped outside and froze. The world around him was not like Earth. The sky glowed faintly green, as if the air itself was alive. Giant trees rose into the sky, their leaves shining like glass under moonlight. Strange birds with crystal wings flew overhead, leaving trails of light behind them. The ground pulsed softly as if it had a heartbeat of its own. He muttered under his breath, Where am I?" The crash had pulled him far off course. His mission was simple: chart new trade routes for the corporation. But now he was stranded alone on a planet he had never seen before. As he walked through the glowing forest, his boots sank into soft soil that felt warm, almost too warm. He looked back once at the wreck of his ship, smoke still climbing into the alien sky, and he knew the truth. No one was coming for him. If he wanted to live, he had to survive here. A soft sound came from the shadows. Daniel turned sharply. His hand reached for the emergency pistol at his belt. His heart pounded. The sound was like whispering, but no human voice could sound like that, like a song made of wind. Then he saw her. A figure stepped out from behind the glowing trees. At first, Daniel thought his eyes were lying to him. She was tall, taller than any human woman, her skin smooth and silver like liquid metal. Her eyes glowed a deep blue, brighter than the stars above. Her hair flowed like strands of light itself. She wore no armor, no weapon, yet she carried a power that made Daniel's knees feel weak. The alien woman tilted her head, watching him closely, as if she had been waiting for him. When she spoke, her voice was strange, broken, heavy, but still carrying meaning. "Human," she whispered. "Let me stay here. I'll give you what no white woman ever could." Daniel's blood turned cold. He stepped back, his pistol shaking in his hand. Her words cut through the air like a blade. How did she know his language? How did she know him? Who are you?" Daniel asked, his throat dry. The alien woman took one slow step closer, her glowing eyes never leaving his. "I am Sira," she said softly. "I have waited long time. For you." Daniel shook his head. "That's not possible. I don't even know this place. I don't know you." Her lips curved into something between a smile and a plea. "You don't know me, but you will. If you let me stay, I will give you what your kind could never give." Her words filled him with confusion. What did she mean? What could she possibly offer him? And why did her voice carry both sadness and hunger, like someone who had lost everything? The forest grew silent. Even the glowing birds had vanished into the night. Only Daniel and the strange woman stood in the clearing. The heartbeat of the ground grew louder beneath his boots, as if the world itself was waiting for his answer. Daniel raised his pistol higher, trying to keep his voice steady. "Why are you here? Why me?" Sira's glowing eyes softened. She did not move closer. Instead, she lowered her head, her voice trembling. "Because only you can decide," she whispered. "If I return, I die. If I stay, I live. And if I stay with you, you will see the truth your people hide." Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. She was begging him not to send her away. But behind her words was something darker, something he could not yet see. He thought of the corporation, of the mission, of the world he had left behind. Every decision was supposed to be by the book, logical, controlled. But this was different. This was a choice between trust and fear. Sira raised her head again, her glowing eyes piercing his soul. "Let me stay," she said once more, stronger now. "Let me stay, and I will show you what no human woman ever could. A secret, a gift, a future." Daniel's grip on the pistol tightened. His heart thundered in his chest. He didn't know if she was a danger, a liar, or something far greater than he could imagine. But one thing was certain. His life was no longer his own. Because in that moment, in that strange, glowing forest, he realized something terrifying. She had not just found him. She had been waiting for him. The night air shimmered faintly green, and the silence of the alien forest pressed down on Captain Daniel Hayes. He could still hear her words echoing inside his skull. "Let me stay here. I'll give you what no white woman ever could." Her voice was soft, but it clung to his thoughts like chains. The alien woman, Sira, stood before him. her glowing blue eyes fixed on him as if she could see the truth inside his heart. Her silver skin caught the light from the strange trees, making her seem more like a living flame than flesh and blood. Daniel lowered his pistol a fraction, though his body stayed tense. "What do you mean? What can you give me?" he demanded, his voice sharp. Sira took a slow step closer. She did not raise her hands, did not show fear. Her presence was calm, but her words carried weight. "Your kind takes," she said, her voice broken but clear enough. "Takes from stars, takes from worlds, takes and breaks." Daniel stiffened. How did she know about humans? How could she speak with such certainty? "I don't have time for riddles," he snapped. "Tell me what you want." Her glowing eyes softened, almost pleading. "I want freedom," she whispered. "I want to live. Not in chains. With you I can. Without you I die." Her words hit him like a storm. Chains, death, freedom, it was too much. She wasn't just asking for shelter or safety, she was asking for him. Daniel shook his head. "Why me? Why not any human?" Sira tilted her head, and for a moment sadness crossed her shining face. "Because only you crashed here. Only you stand between me and them." "Them?" Daniel asked, narrowing his eyes. She lifted her hand and pointed toward the dark horizon. In the distance, a faint red glow pulsed as if something massive was sleeping beneath the ground. "They are coming," she whispered. "The Watchers. They hunt me. They hunt anyone who tries to break their rule." Daniel's chest tightened. The Watchers? He had never heard the name, yet the way she said it filled him with dread. Sira's voice grew sharper. "If they find me, I will be taken, used. If they find you, you will die. Unless—" She stepped closer, her glowing face inches from his. "Unless you accept me." Daniel stumbled back, his boots pressing into the soft soil. "Accept you? What are you talking about?" She placed her hand gently on her chest. Her touch glowed faintly against her own skin. "I am not just one, I am more. If you allow me to stay, I can share its strength, vision, knowledge your kind hides from you, power no human woman can give." Daniel's breath caught. Her words felt dangerous, tempting, like fire hidden inside a jewel. He remembered his training. Never trust an unknown life form. Never believe promises too great to be true. But still, something inside him stirred. "What happens if I refuse?" Daniel asked slowly. Sira's eyes darkened, her glow dimming slightly. "Then you walk alone," she said. "The forest will turn against you. The Watchers will come, and you will die here, nameless, forgotten." A shiver ran down Daniel's spine. He tightened his grip on the pistol, though he wasn't sure if it would even work against her, or against whatever these Watchers were. The silence stretched. The forest seemed to breathe around them. A soft hum filled the air, like the world itself was listening. Daniel swallowed hard. "Why should I trust you? You could be lying. You could be leading me into a trap." For the first time, her glowing eyes narrowed, sharp like a blade. "If I wanted you dead, you would not be standing," she said simply. The truth in her voice struck him. She had the power. He had seen the strange glow around her hands, the strength in her presence. If she had wanted to kill him, she would have done it already. Sira's glow softened again, turning almost warm. "I do not ask for blind trust," she whispered. "Only a chance. Walk with me. See what I can show. Then decide." Daniel stood frozen. His mind battled itself, logic screaming to run, instinct whispering to stay. He remembered Earth, the endless commands of the corporation, the orders to take, to exploit, to conquer. And now here was this alien woman offering something else, something hidden. Finally, he lowered his pistol completely. "Fine," he muttered. "I'll walk with you. But if this is a trick—" Sira's lips curved faintly, though her eyes remained sad. "If this is a trick, you will never see another sunrise." The words chilled him, yet they sounded more like a warning than a threat. She turned and began to walk into the glowing forest, her silver skin shining against the green light. Daniel hesitated for only a moment before following. Every step felt heavier. Every shadow seemed alive. He glanced back once at the broken wreck of his ship, now distant and silent. That life was over. Whatever path he was on now was darker, stranger, and far more dangerous. And as he followed Sira into the unknown, he realized something terrifying. It wasn't just her who wanted him. It was the planet itself. The glowing forest stretched endlessly, its silence broken only by the crunch of Daniel's boots on the strange soil. He followed Sira through winding paths lit by plants that pulsed like living lanterns. Each step away from his wreck made his heart heavier. Yet some unseen pull pushed him forward. Sira moved gracefully, her silver skin catching the green light, her long hair glowing faintly like threads of starlight. She walked without fear, as if the forest itself parted to let her pass. Daniel, however, felt every shadow watching him. He gripped his pistol tightly, his senses sharp. Finally, after what felt like hours, they reached a cliff hidden deep within the forest. Vines as thick as tree trunks hung down its rocky face, but in the middle was something unnatural. A dark opening, a doorway carved into the stone. Sira stopped and turned toward him. Her glowing blue eyes softened. "This is where truth sleeps," she said quietly. "If you are brave enough, follow." Daniel frowned. "A cave, that's your secret?" Her gaze sharpened. "Not a cave, a temple. Built before your kind walked among the stars." The word sent a chill down his spine. Before humans traveled space? That could mean thousands of years. Maybe more. Sira stepped into the opening, the darkness swallowing her silver glow. Daniel hesitated, his breath heavy in his chest. His training screamed at him. Unknown structures could be traps, ruins could collapse, but curiosity burned stronger than fear. With a deep breath, he followed. The air inside was cool and thick, smelling faintly of metal and stone. As Daniel's eyes adjusted, he saw walls covered in glowing crystal veins. Strange symbols were carved everywhere, shapes of stars, figures of humans, and tall beings with glowing eyes like Sira's. His heart skipped. Humans. The carvings showed humans standing beside these alien beings, sharing tools, building cities. "What? What is this place?" Daniel whispered. Sira's voice echoed softly from ahead. "A memory, a wound, a truth buried." Daniel walked further, his flashlight sweeping across the walls. The carvings told a story, humans reaching for the stars, guided by glowing figures. But then the images darkened, humans turning weapons on their allies, chains around the glowing beings, blood spilled under alien skies. Daniel froze. His stomach twisted. This can't be real. Sira stood near a great crystal pillar rising from the center of the chamber. Her hand rested gently on its surface, and it pulsed with faint light as if alive. She looked at him with sorrow. "It is real," she said softly. "Long ago my kind gave your people knowledge. We gave fire, iron, the path to the stars. But your people wanted more. They betrayed us, enslaved us, and when we fled, they erased us from memory." Daniel's throat tightened. He wanted to deny it, to call it a lie, but the carving stared back at him, cold and undeniable. Sira's eyes glowed brighter. "Do you see now why I beg? If the Watchers find me, they will not just kill me. They will use me as they used my sisters long ago, and your kind will never know the truth." Daniel's hand trembled on his pistol. The corporation he served had always been greedy, hungry for power. Could it be possible? Had humanity already done this once before? Before he could answer, a deep rumble shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling. The crystal pillar pulsed violently, as if responding to something outside. Sira's head snapped toward the darkness. Her voice turned sharp. "They are close." Daniel's heart raced. "Who?" "The Watchers," she whispered. "They have found us." The chamber filled with a low hum, a vibration that crawled into his bones. From the shadows at the far end of the temple, dark shapes began to emerge. At first they looked like shadows given form, tall, armored, faceless. But as the light caught them, Daniel's stomach dropped. Symbols glowed faintly on their armor. Symbols he recognized. Human letters, human numbers. His mind spun. No, that's impossible. "Those are corporate marks." Sira's face turned grim. "Now you see. The Watchers are not only mine. They are yours, made by your own kind, sent to hunt what should never be free." Daniel's breath caught. The corporation, his own people. They had known about Sira's kind all along. The Watchers stepped closer, their movements silent but heavy, like machines with human rage hidden inside. Red lights burned in their faceless helmets. Sira grabbed Daniel's arm, her touch burning with strange energy. "You must choose, human. Stand with me or fall with them." The rumble grew louder, the crystal pillar glowing brighter as if warning them. Daniel's heart thundered. He looked at the Watchers, symbols of his own people's greed, and then at Sira, desperate yet powerful, offering a dangerous truth. His breath shook. For the first time, Daniel realized the war he had crashed into was not alien versus human. It was human versus itself. The air inside the crystal temple trembled with the sound of heavy steps. The watchers moved forward slowly, their armor shining black against the glowing walls. Their helmets carried no faces, only burning red slits where eyes should have been. They looked like machines, but the weight of their presence felt human. Too human. Daniel's throat tightened. He could see the corporate markings etched into their armor, the same kind of symbols that had decorated his own ship. He couldn't deny it now. The Watchers were not some alien enemy. They were made, or controlled by humans. Sira pulled him closer, her glowing hand gripping his wrist. "Do not freeze," she whispered sharply. "They smell fear. They taste it." Daniel raised his pistol, though his hands trembled. He knew the tiny weapon was useless against armored giants, but it was all he had. The Watchers spread out, surrounding them. The hum in the air grew louder, like static filling the chamber. One of the armored figures stepped forward. Its voice came through a crackling speaker, harsh and cold. "Subject Sira, you are property of the Directorate. You will return at once." Daniel's chest burned. Property. The word made his stomach twist. Sira's eyes flashed with fury. She stepped in front of Daniel, her silver skin glowing brighter, her voice rising like a storm. "I am not property. I am free." She raised her hand and light exploded from her palm. A blast of energy shot across the temple, striking the Watcher square in the chest. The armored figure flew backward, crashing against the crystal wall with a deafening crack. The others did not hesitate. Two Watchers charged, their movements unnaturally fast. Daniel fired his pistol, the blast sparking harmlessly against their armor. He stumbled back, his mind screaming at him to run. Sira moved like flowing fire. She raised both hands and glowing arcs of energy spread from her fingertips, slicing through the air. The Watchers staggered, their armor scorched, but still they pressed on. Daniel ducked as one swung a massive arm toward him. The blow smashed into the floor, sending shards of crystal flying. Daniel's ears rang, his chest pounding. "Stay behind me!" Sira shouted, but Daniel's instincts rebelled. He couldn't just cower while she fought. He searched the chamber desperately, his flashlight sweeping across the carvings until it stopped on something. A weapon carved into the wall, a staff held by one of the glowing figures. His mind raced. Was it just art or a clue? He ran to the pillar, his hand brushing the carved staff. To his shock, the stone shifted beneath his touch. With a low rumble, part of the wall opened and a real staff slid free, glowing faintly with the same light as the carvings. Daniel grabbed it. The weight was strange, balanced yet heavy. The moment his fingers closed around it, the staff pulsed as if alive. One Watcher turned toward him, raising its massive arm to strike. Daniel swung the staff instinctively. A wave of light shot from its tip, striking the armored giant and sending it crashing backward in a shower of sparks. Daniel's breath caught. He stared at the staff in shock. What is this?" Sira's eyes widened even as she fought. "It chose you," she whispered. "The temple accepts you." The words filled him with equal parts fear and power. He gripped the staff tighter, his chest burning with adrenaline. Together, he and Sira fought. She unleashed arcs of energy, her movements elegant and furious, while Daniel swung the glowing staff. Blasts of light striking the Watchers and forcing them back. The chamber shook with the clash of power and steel. But the Watchers were relentless. For every one they knocked down, another rose. Their armor cracked, sparks flew, but they did not stop. Finally, the ground split beneath them, a loud crack echoing through the temple. Dust rained from the ceiling. The great crystal pillar flickered violently, its glow turning unstable. Sira's face turned grim. "The temple will fall," she said. "We must leave now." Daniel nodded, his chest heaving. Together they rushed toward the entrance, the Watchers roaring behind them. As they reached the cliff outside, the night air hit Daniel like a wave. He stumbled, gripping the staff tightly. Behind him, the temple collapsed, crystals shattering like glass. The Watchers clawed their way out of the rubble, their red eyes burning brighter in the dark. Sira grabbed Daniel's arm, pulling him into the forest. "They will not stop," she said urgently. "They will chase us until one of us is gone." Daniel's lungs burned as they ran through the glowing trees. Branches snapped, shadows twisted, and the sound of metal feet grew louder behind them. His mind spun with questions, fear, and something else. Resolve. For the first time, he wasn't just surviving. He was choosing to fight. As they ran, Sira glanced at him, her glowing eyes fierce but filled with something fragile too. "Do you see now?" she asked, her voice breaking through the chaos. "Your kind is not innocent. They built these hunters. They sent them. Will you still turn from me, or will you stand with me?" Daniel's grip on the staff tightened. He could hear the watchers tearing through the forest, closing in. He met her gaze. His voice was hoarse but steady. "I'm not turning away." Sierra's lips curved faintly, almost like a smile, though her eyes still burned with sorrow. Behind them, the watchers roared, their red lights slicing through the darkness, and Daniel knew the chase had only begun. The glowing forest trembled with every heavy step of the watchers. Daniel and Sierra ran through the twisting paths, their breath sharp, their bodies pushed to the limit. The staff pulsed in Daniel's hand with each heartbeat, as though it had become part of him. Branches cracked behind them, trees shook as the armored hunters charged forward. Daniel's lungs burned, but he forced himself onward. He could not stop. Not now. Finally, Sierra pulled him into a hidden hollow beneath the roots of a massive tree. The space glowed faintly from moss that lit the walls. The sound of the watchers faded. Though Daniel knew they weren't gone, they were circling, hunting. Sierra leaned against the root wall, her chest rising and falling quickly. Even in exhaustion, her silver skin glowed. Her eyes fixed on him, piercing and sorrowful. "You see now," she said softly. "You see what your kind has made." Daniel sank down opposite her, his grip on the staff tight. His mind was a storm. The watchers, machines, soldiers, whatever they wore symbols of the corporation. His corporation. The same one that had sent him on this mission. He shook his head. "No, it doesn't make sense. They never told us about you. They never said anything about—" He trailed off, his voice breaking. Sierra's eyes narrowed. "Of course they did not. Lies are easier than truth. They hide us. They bury history. They call us dangerous. Because they fear us." Daniel's jaw clenched. His memories of training, of endless briefings, surfaced in fragments. The warnings against rogue elements, the unexplained orders, the way questions were always ignored. His chest tightened as realization crept in. "You're saying," he whispered, "they already knew about your people. They've known for years." Sierra's voice was low, heavy with pain. "Not just years, centuries. Long ago we gave your people knowledge, and in return, they gave us chains. When we broke free, they hunted us. They created the Watchers to keep us hidden so no one would remember, so no one would believe." Daniel's stomach twisted. His whole career, every mission suddenly felt poisoned. He thought he was exploring new worlds, but maybe he was part of something darker, something built on lies. He looked at her, his voice barely a whisper. "Why me? Why tell me all this?" Sierra's glowing eyes softened, and for a moment the hardness in her face cracked. "Because you are not like them. You listen, you question, and you hold the staff. The temple chose you. That means the past is calling you." Daniel stared at the glowing staff in his hands. He wanted to throw it away, to deny everything. But the weight of it felt too real. It hummed with life, with history. Before he could speak, a sharp crack echoed outside. The ground trembled. The Watchers were close again. Sierra's expression hardened. "We cannot hide forever. They will not stop until I am taken. Until you are dead." Daniel stood, his voice rough. "Then tell me the truth, everything. No more riddles." She hesitated, then nodded. "The Directorate, the humans you serve, made a pact long ago. They took our power, our knowledge, and they built their empire on it. But they wanted more. They wanted control, so they created the Watchers, half machine, half man, bound to obedience. They sent them to erase us from history." Her voice trembled now. "I escaped. I have lived in shadows, waiting for a moment, waiting for someone who could stand with me. Someone the temple would accept, and then you came." Daniel's chest felt heavy, his thoughts spiraling. Betrayal. His own people, his own leaders, building their world on slavery, on stolen lives. Outside, a Watcher's metallic roar shook the air. Daniel clenched his jaw. "If that's true, if they've been lying to us all this time, then everything I fought for, everything I believed in." His voice cracked. "It's nothing." Sierra stepped closer. Her hand, glowing faintly, touched his chest. "Not nothing," she said softly. "You still choose. You are not their slave." Her touch was warm, almost human, yet filled with strange energy. Daniel's heart pounded. She wasn't just asking him to help. She was asking him to betray his own kind, and yet, hadn't they betrayed him first? The forest shook again. This time the red glow of the watchers burned through the trees. They had found the trail. Syrah's eyes locked onto his. Now you decide. Run back to them, hand me over, and they will welcome you. Or stay with me and fight them. But know this, if you choose me, you turn against your own kind. Daniel's chest heaved. His mind screamed with doubt, but his blood burned with anger. He thought of the lies, the silence, the way his leaders had kept him blind. He raised the staff, its glow stronger now, as if answering his heart. His voice was steady. I'm not giving you to them. Syrah's expression softened, almost breaking. For the first time she looked not just fierce, but grateful. The forest erupted as the watchers burst through the trees, their red lights slicing the night. Daniel tightened his grip on the staff, his heart ready for the battle to come. He no longer fought for the directorate. He no longer fought for orders. He fought for truth. The night burned red with the glow of the watchers' eyes. They moved through the forest like living shadows, their metal steps shaking the ground. Daniel stood with the glowing staff in his hands, his heart pounding. Syrah stood beside him, her silver skin shining faintly. Her breath sharp but steady. The air was heavy with silence before the storm. One of the watchers stepped forward. Its armor cracked from the earlier battle, but its voice still cold and strong. Captain Daniel Hayes, it said through its speaker. You serve the directorate. Hand over the subject known as Syrah. Do this and you will be rescued. Defy us and you will be terminated. The words sliced through Daniel like knives, rescued, home, safety. Everything he thought he wanted. But now those words felt poisoned. He glanced at Syrah. She stood tall, but her glowing eyes betrayed pain. Her strength was fading. The energy blast she had used had drained her. Daniel could see it. Her glow was weaker, her body trembling slightly. The watcher raised its arm, a weapon built into the armor glowing red. Choose, Captain, now. Daniel's throat tightened. His mind screamed with conflict. His whole life he had followed orders. Obeyed the chain of command. Believed the directorate's lies. But now he knew the truth. They weren't rescuers. They were jailers, hunters, betrayers. Syrah placed her hand gently on his arm. Her voice was soft, almost pleading. Do not listen to them. If you hand me over, I will vanish. They will take me, use me, and you will never know the truth again. Her eyes locked onto his. But if you stand with me, we can break them. Even if it costs us everything. Daniel's chest ached. He looked at the watchers, symbols of his own kind's greed, and then back at Syrah, glowing with fragile hope. He whispered, Why me? Why put this on me? Syrah's lips trembled. Because the temple chose you. Because you still have a heart that listens. And because... She hesitated, her voice breaking. Because I cannot do this alone. The watchers raised their weapons. The forest lit with red light. Time has ended, the leader growled. Choose. Daniel's grip on the staff shook. His mind screamed to run, to surrender, to survive. But his heart told him something else, something wild and terrifying. And then it happened. The watchers fired. A searing beam of red energy shot toward Daniel, but before it struck, Syrah moved. In a blur of silver light, she threw herself in front of him. The blast hit her chest and a scream tore from her lips. No! Daniel cried, his voice raw. Syrah fell into his arms, her glowing skin flickering like a dying star. She gasped, her voice broken but still steady. Now you see, what I give is more than power. It is choice. It is freedom. Her hand touched his face, her fingers trembling. Let me stay with you. And the future can change. Daniel's vision blurred with rage and grief. The watchers stepped forward, their weapons charging again. Something inside him snapped. The staff in his hand pulsed violently, light surging through it. Energy shot from its tip, blasting outward in a wave that shook the forest. Trees cracked, ground split, and two watchers were thrown backward into the darkness. Daniel roared, swinging the staff again, unleashing another blast of light. The watchers staggered, their red glow dimming. For the first time, they faltered. He stood tall, Syrah weak in his arms, the staff blazing with power. His voice shook but carried fire. I will not hand her over, he shouted. If you want her, you'll have to go through me. The watchers paused. Their leader tilted its head, almost studying him. Then its cold voice echoed once more. Very well. If you side with the subject, you are no longer human. You are enemy. Daniel's heart hammered, but he felt no fear now. He had chosen. He wasn't fighting for the directorate anymore. He wasn't fighting for orders or survival. He was fighting for truth. For freedom. For Sira. The Watchers pulled back slightly, their weapons glowing brighter. The battle wasn't over. It was only beginning. Sira coughed weakly, her eyes dim but still holding his. "You chose," she whispered. "Even if we fall." "You chose right." Daniel gritted his teeth, holding her close. "I won't let you die. Not here, not like this." The forest rumbled again, the earth itself shaking beneath their feet. The Watchers advanced in formation, ready for the final strike. Daniel planted his feet, the staff glowing brighter than ever. The choice had been made. He would stand. He would fight, even if it meant turning against his own kind. The forest glowed red with the lights of the Watchers. Their armor reflected the strange trees, their heavy steps shaking the ground as they closed in. Daniel stood at the center of it all, the ancient staff burning with light in his hands. In his arms, Sira trembled, her silver glow fading like the last flame of a candle. Her voice was weak, but her eyes still held him. "Do not let them take me." Daniel's chest ached. He wanted to promise her safety, but the truth pressed against him like a weight. The Watchers were endless. His weapon was powerful, but he was only one man. The leader of the Watchers stepped forward. Its voice boomed through the forest, cold and commanding. "Captain Daniel Hayes, hand over the subject. Destroy the weapon. Return to your people and your life will be spared. Resist and you will be erased." Daniel's jaw tightened. Erased. The word burned in his mind. He looked down at Sira, wounded, broken, yet still pleading with him through her glowing eyes. She had given him more than a choice. She had given him a truth that could never be buried again. Slowly, he lowered her to the ground, resting her against the glowing roots. He rose to his feet, gripping the staff tighter. His voice was rough but steady. "No, I'm done obeying lies. I won't hand her over, not now. Not ever." The Watcher's red eyes blazed brighter. "Then you are no longer human," the leader declared. "You are enemy." The forest roared with noise as the Watchers charged. Daniel raised the staff. Light exploded outward, blasting 3 of the armored giants back. The ground shook, roots splitting, trees shattering under the force. But more Watchers pushed forward, their weapons glowing red. Daniel swung again, arcs of energy tearing through the air. Sparks flew as the blast struck the Watcher's armor, cracking it, burning it. Still, they came. Relentless. Endless. Behind him, Sira raised her trembling hand, weak but determined. A faint glow spread from her fingertips, joining with the light of the staff. Daniel felt it instantly, a surge of energy, hot and wild, flooding his veins. The staff blazed brighter than ever before, its light stretching across the sky. He understood. She wasn't just giving him strength, she was giving him herself. Sira's voice echoed weakly in his mind. "We are one now, fight. For both of us," Daniel roared, swinging the staff with all his might. A wave of light shot forward, brighter than the sun. It tore through the Watchers, shattering armor, ripping machines apart. The forest trembled as the wave pushed farther, knocking down trees and shaking the very earth. When the light faded, silence filled the air. Smoke rose from the shattered ground. Dozens of Watchers lay broken, their red lights fading one by one. But the leader still stood. Its armor was cracked, its glow dim, but it remained. Slowly, it raised its weapon, pointing it at Daniel. "You cannot win," it said, its voice glitching with static. "You are one. We are many. The Directorate will never stop." Daniel's chest heaved. He gripped the staff, his body trembling with exhaustion, his heart filled with fire. He took a step forward, his eyes locked on the last Watcher. "Then let them come," he growled. "I'll fight them all. I'm not their soldier anymore." The staff pulsed brighter than ever. Daniel swung it one last time, the blast striking the leader square in the chest. The Watcher's armor shattered, its body collapsing into sparks and smoke. Silence. The forest slowly calmed. The glow of the trees returned, soft and steady, as if the world itself had taken a long breath. Daniel dropped to his knees beside Sira. Her glow was almost gone now, her body weak. He held her hand, his voice breaking. "It's over. We won." Her lips curved into the faintest smile. "No, not one. Only begun." Daniel shook his head. "Don't talk like that. You'll be fine. You have to be." Her glowing eyes softened. "I gave you my strength. The staff chose you. You are the bridge. Human and not. With you, the truth will live." Daniel's throat tightened. "Stay with me, Sira, please." She touched his cheek with trembling fingers. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Let me stay. Inside you. That is enough." Her hand fell, her glow fading completely. The forest dimmed around them as if mourning her. Daniel's chest shattered with grief. He clutched the staff, tears burning his eyes. But even as he grieved, he felt it. The pulse of the staff, the warmth in his chest. Sira wasn't gone. She was part of him now. Slowly he rose to his feet. The forest was silent, the broken watchers scattered like fallen statues. Above, the alien sky glowed faintly green, endless and strange. Daniel looked into the distance. He knew the Directorate would send more. They would never stop hunting. But he also knew he wasn't the same man anymore. He wasn't just Captain Daniel Hayes of the Directorate. He was something new, something human, and something more. The staff pulsed in his hand, its light steady, alive. Daniel took a deep breath, his voice low but strong. Then let them come. And with Sira's spirit burning inside him, he walked into the glowing forest, ready for whatever future awaited.